The sun was hidden behind thick clouds of ash. A strong wind blew over the strange arena built into the rocky land of planet Varnock. The crowd was loud. Alien nobles sat in golden chairs, watching the center pit like hungry beasts. They had come for a show of blood. In the middle of that pit stood a man, a human. His name was Jace Rowan. He wore torn armor. Blood stained his arms, but it was not his own. Around him were the bodies of strange beasts and defeated warriors. He had survived them all. He didn't cheer. He didn't raise his hands. He only breathed slowly, looking around the silent arena. An alien noble stood up. He was tall, with long horns and black armor that shimmered in the smoky air. This was Baron Threlk, the ruler of this part of the galaxy. "Human," the Baron shouted, "you have won the death trials. You have earned a reward." A gate slowly opened. Heavy chains dragged along the stone floor. Two figures were pulled into the arena by guards. Both were alien women. The first had smooth blue skin. Her long silver hair fell over her face, hiding her eyes. She looked weak, but proud, still trying to stand tall despite her bruises. Her name was Arila, though Jace didn't know it yet. The second was different. Her skin was dark red, covered in small, glowing scales. Her eyes burned like fire. She didn't try to hide her anger. She stared directly at the Baron with hate. Her name was Vexa, though she said nothing. The crowd laughed. "Choose one," the Baron said with a grin. "A slave for your victory. One will serve you. The other goes back into the pit." Jace looked at both women. Neither begged, neither cried. They simply stood in silence, breathing hard. They had been through pain. He could see that. But even now, they held on to something. "Pride, hope," the crowd cheered. "Choose, choose." Jace turned to the Baron. His voice was calm but firm. "I choose both." The arena went quiet. The Baron blinked. "What?" "I choose both," Jace repeated. "I won your trial. I fought your monsters. I deserve better." "Then one." Gasps spread through the crowd like wildfire. No one had ever spoken to the Baron like that. No one had ever questioned the rules. "You dare mock me?" The Baron growled. His guards stepped forward. "Weapons ready. You were given a gift, human. Do not push your luck." Jace didn't move. He looked at the two women. "I don't see gifts," he said. "I see people. You chained them. You used them for sport. That ends now." The blue-skinned girl looked up. Her silver eyes met Jace's for the first time. Something flickered in her gaze. Surprise, yes, but also something else. A tiny light. Vexa, the red-skinned girl, shifted slightly. Her chains clinked. She didn't smile, but her stare changed. She was watching him now, closely. The Baron raised his hand. "Kill him." The guards rushed forward, but Jace had not come this far to die. With speed born from pain and training, he grabbed the chain of one of the girls, swinging it like a weapon. The guard's weapon flew from his hand. Jace spun, kicked, and dropped another attacker to the floor. The crowd screamed in shock and excitement. No one had ever attacked the guards. No one had ever dared to fight back in the arena after the trial was over. Arila fell to her knees as the chaos exploded. Vexa lunged at a guard, biting his wrist and ripping free of her chain. She fought like a wild beast, burning with years of rage. Jace grabbed both their hands. "Come with me if you want to live." They didn't hesitate. The three ran together, toward the lower gate. Behind them, alarms blared. The Baron shouted orders. Elite hunters began to gather, but Jace didn't look back. Not yet. He had made a choice that could cost him everything. But he knew, deep in his heart, he was not wrong. He didn't know who these girls truly were. He didn't know why they had been chosen as rewards. But he knew one thing. They were not things to be owned. And this fight was only beginning. A huge explosion shook the lower arena gates. Thick black smoke covered the air as Jace, Arila, and Vexa ran through narrow metal tunnels. Alarms howled like angry beasts. Red lights blinked above their heads, flashing warnings in alien languages. Jace didn't know where the path led. He only knew one thing: they had to escape now or they would die. Behind them, footsteps echoed. The Baron's elite guards, tall reptilian soldiers with metal blades for arms, were chasing them through the maze. Arilla struggled to run. Her wounds were deep, her body weak after weeks of being chained. Jace grabbed her arm to help, but she tried to pull away. "I can run," she said, though her voice shook. Vexa said nothing. Her red eyes glowed in the dark tunnel. She moved fast, sharp, like a shadow that knew how to survive. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shifted with a heavy clang. Jace stopped. Trapdoor. Too late. The metal panels opened beneath their feet. Jace threw himself forward and pulled Arilla with him, but Vexa dropped, falling into the black pit below. "Vexa!" Arilla screamed. Jace turned. The hole sealed shut with a loud hiss. Vexa was gone. "No!" Jace pounded the floor, but it didn't move. Before he could think, Arilla grabbed his arm. "We have to go," she whispered. "They'll catch us." Jace's heart was burning, but he nodded. They ran again, turning into a rusted tunnel that smelled like oil and blood. Somewhere deeper below, Vexa opened her eyes. Darkness, silence, cold. She was alive, but barely. She pushed herself up, breathing hard. She had fallen into some old arena cell, a forgotten room filled with broken chains and bones. As her eyes adjusted, she saw something scratched into the wall. Ancient alien writing, glowing faintly. It said, "She who awakens rage shall never be tamed." She smiled. "Good," she whispered. "Because I was never meant to be tame." Then she stood up. Back in the upper levels, the Baron was shaking with rage. He stood at the center of the arena, surrounded by his noble guests. His guards had failed. His prize slaves were gone. The human had humiliated him in front of every leader in the system. "Seal the city," he growled. "Send every tracker, every drone. I want that human's head and the blue girl returned alive." One noble raised a brow. "What about the red one?" The Baron sneered. "Let her rot. She's too wild to be useful." But deep down, the Baron was afraid. He had chained Vexa for a reason. Not because she was weak, but because she had power. Old, dangerous power. One that could bring ruin if awakened. And now, she was free. Jace and Arilla found an old maintenance hatch and slipped into a smaller tunnel. The walls were tight. Pipes hissed. The sound of boots above them was getting closer. They rested for a moment in the shadows. Jace looked at Arilla. "Who are you, really?" She didn't speak at first. Her silver eyes watched him carefully. Then she whispered, "I was born on Illithor, a planet of peace. I was heir to the Crystal Court." "You're a princess?" "I was." Then the Baron came. He wanted power. He wanted what I carry in my blood. Jace frowned. "What do you carry?" She hesitated. "A key, not a real one. A genetic one. My body. It holds the code to control something very old." Jace stared. "A weapon?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, but not just me. Vexa too. We were both made, chosen, for it." Jace's thoughts raced. "So that's why he gave you as a reward. He was hoping I'd pick one, then merge your bloodline into his own." Arilla shivered. "He wanted to control us, but you ruined his plan." Jace smiled. "Good. I'm not here to follow his rules." She looked at him differently now, with trust, with wonder. "Why did you pick both of us?" Jace didn't answer, at first. Then he said, "Because no one should be left behind in chains." Suddenly a loud thud echoed nearby. The metal door burst open. Hunters had found them. Jace grabbed Arilla's hand. "Run!" They raced through the tunnel, chased by death once again. Far below, in the shadows, Vexa pressed her hand to the old wall. Strange light flowed into her arm. She could feel something awakening inside her, energy she had hidden for so long. She whispered to the stone, "I'm coming." Her eyes burned brighter than ever, and the ground began to shake. Sandstorms howled outside the city walls. The land beyond was not made for life. It was a place called the Ash Wastes. No maps marked it, no roads crossed it. Only silence, bones, and forgotten machines remained. And now, Jace and Arilla were running straight into it. They had escaped the tunnels at night through a cracked water drain beneath the city wall. The ground was dry and hot, the air sharp and full of ash. Every breath burned their throats. "We need to find shelter," Jace said. "The heat will kill us before the Baron does." Arilla was quiet. She moved slowly, holding her side where an old wound bled through her torn clothes. She was getting weaker. Behind them, lights flashed from the sky. Search drones. The Baron's hunters were coming fast. Suddenly, a loud sound broke the silence. Boom. A fireball exploded in the sand just meters away. A hunter drone had spotted them. "Run!" Jace pulled Arilla as fast as he could. They ducked behind a pile of rusty metal, an old machine that had crashed years ago. The ground was full of the wreckage of a past war. Giant robot arms, broken tanks, shattered alien weapons. "This place," Arilla whispered. "It's the graveyard of the first machine war." Jace frowned. So the rumors were true? Another blast shook the earth. The drone moved closer, ready to fire again. Jace looked at Arilla. "Can you move?" She nodded, barely. He turned to the wrecked machine beside them. "Then follow me. I have an idea." Far away, underground, Vexa was no longer trapped. She had torn through a vent shaft using only her claws and anger. Her body moved with power now, old energy from deep inside her blood. She had heard voices, felt footsteps above. She could sense Arilla and the human nearby like a strange connection calling to her. Now she climbed out of the tunnels, rising into the light for the first time in days. The sky was red with dust. She was outside the city, but her eyes locked instantly onto something else. Drones, hunters, weapons, and in the middle of it all, Jace and Arilla running for their lives. Vexa growled. "I told you I'm not a slave." She sprinted across the rocks, glowing with rage. Back in the wastes, Jace had led Arilla into the belly of an old war robot, its chest broken open like a dead beast. Inside was dark but strong enough to hide them from the drone sensors. He pulled Arilla close and whispered, "Stay quiet." The drone hovered above. It scanned the area, then moved on. They waited. Minutes passed. Jace could hear Arilla breathing, slow, painful, but steady. He looked at her. "You okay?" She opened her eyes. You saved me again." He shook his head. "You're not a burden. Not to me." Arilla touched his arm lightly. "No one has ever said that to me before." Just then, a sound made them both freeze. Metallic clang outside. Heavy footsteps. Not a drone. Something or someone was walking toward them. Jace grabbed a sharp metal rod from the floor. He moved toward the opening, ready to fight. A shape appeared in the dust. Red skin. Glowing eyes. Sharp teeth. It was Vexa. She was breathing hard. Her arms were cut, her clothes dirty, but her stare was fierce. Arilla gasped, crawling forward. "Vexa." Vexa stepped in, eyes locked on Jace. She looked him up and down, her gaze cold. "You're lucky I decided to follow you," she said flatly. "Most men would be dead by now." Jace grinned. "You're welcome." Vexa ignored the joke. She knelt beside Arilla and checked her wounds. "She needs rest." "Then we find a place," Jace said. "Further into the wastes." Vexa stood. "You're insane. No one survives the deeper zones." "Then we'll be the first." For the first time, Vexa gave him a small nod of respect. The three moved together now, through the dry land under a dying sun. They walked past broken statues and wrecked ships. The air grew colder, the sky darker. Old warning signs blinked from buried control towers. "Do not enter. Zone X9 is unstable." Arilla stopped. "I know this place." Jace turned. "What is it?" She looked at the strange rock spires around them. This is where the weapon was buried, the one the Baron wants to control. Vexa narrowed her eyes. Are you sure? Erila nodded. Yes. And something is waking up. Far behind them, the Baron received a message. His top hunter drone had just been destroyed. He slammed his fist on the control screen. They're heading toward Zone X9, the guard reported. The Baron's face turned pale. Send the death squads, he said. Don't let them near the weapon. If they awaken it, it's over. The desert changed as they crossed into Zone X9. The ash turned to glass. Black, cracked glass, like the land had been burned by something long ago. Strange towers rose, from the earth twisted and hollow, humming softly. Static danced on the wind. Machines buried deep underground still whispered to each other in languages long forgotten. Jace stopped walking. He felt a strange pulse in the ground, like a heartbeat. Where are we? He asked, looking at Erila. She stood still, her silver eyes glowing faintly. This is not just a weapon site, she whispered. This was a living city once. Vexa walked ahead of them, her steps slow. This place remembers pain, she said softly. Like me. Jace frowned. You both keep saying we're connected to this place. Why? What do you mean? Erila turned to him, her voice shaky. It's time you knew the truth. Long ago, the galaxy was ruled by machines. Not dumb robots, but powerful godlike AIs that built entire planets and controlled the stars. But one day, they began to fight each other. Their war burned entire systems. To stop them, an ancient race created a final weapon. Not a bomb, not a gun, but a bio-key. Living beings who could control the machines through blood, thought, and emotion. The creators made only 2 keys. 2 daughters, Erila and Vexa. One created in peace and light, the other born from fire and war. They made us to balance each other, Erila said. One can open, one can close. Vexa crossed her arms. But they died before they could use us. Jace stepped back, shocked. So, you're not just alien girls, you're weapons. No, Erila said firmly. We were meant to control the weapon, but we are not the weapon itself. She stepped forward and touched one of the glass pillars. The ground shook. From beneath the sand, a massive structure began to rise. It looked like a ship, but alive. Grown from metal and bone, shaped like a serpent with wings, it floated above the surface, humming with power. Jace couldn't speak. He had seen alien tech before, but this was something older, something sacred. The ship opened slowly, a glowing staircase unfolding from its belly. Erila looked at Jace. This is the last arc. It responds only to those who carry the code. Me and Vexa. And me? He asked. Vexa spoke this time. No human was ever part of the design, but the arc is reacting to you. That's new. The moment Jace stepped closer to the ship, its lights pulsed brighter. Inside, they saw an empty control room. Strange curved walls and crystal seats that looked like they had grown out of the floor itself. They entered. Erila sat in the left chair. Vexa took the right. Jace stood between them. Now what? He asked. Erila looked at him sadly. Now we wake it up. As the 2 women placed their hands on the control panels, a surge of energy moved through the ship. Symbols lit up. A screen unfolded in the air, showing thousands of red dots approaching from the city. The Baron's full army. He's coming fast, Jace said. He's not going to let us use this thing. He wants to bind us, Vexa growled, to use us as his tools. But we're not tools, Erila whispered. We're more. The ship began to ask for something, a final code. But it didn't come from Erila or Vexa. It came from Jace. The screen blinked. 3rd genetic signature detected. Human. Unknown. Compatible. Jace stepped back. What the hell does that mean? Erila looked stunned. You're a match. Somehow, your DNA is syncing with ours. Vexa's eyes narrowed. That's not possible. But it's happening, Jace said. Maybe that's why I could feel your pain. Why I couldn't walk away when I saw you both chained. The ship confirmed. Final link established. The Ark awaits unity. A new screen opened, showing a map of the planet, with the Ark at its center. Then it showed a countdown. A weapon was buried under the surface and the Baron was almost at its doors. We have to activate the defense system, Arila said. Now. But it requires all three of us, Vexa said, slowly turning toward Jace. You're part of this now, whether you want it or not. Jace looked at them both. His hands shook. I didn't come here to become part of some ancient war. No, Arila said softly. You came to save 2 lives. Jace closed his eyes. Then he stepped forward. Let's finish this. Far away, the Baron stood at the head of his army. The earth trembled beneath his boots. What is that? Sound? One soldier asked. The Baron looked to the sky. Something was waking up, and it wasn't on his side. The Ark trembled with power. Lights flowed across the walls like rivers of energy. Symbols moved on glass panels, forming circles, then breaking apart again. Deep beneath the floor, something ancient had begun to stir. The buried heart of the Ark, beating for the first time in thousands of years. Inside the control chamber, Jay stood between 2 forces that had never been meant to meet. On his left, Arila, calm, glowing softly with blue light. Her breath was slow. Her hands rested gently on the crystal console. She had always been a symbol of peace, grace, hope. On his right, Vexa, sharp, coiled like a weapon ready to strike. Her red skin glowed with sparks. Her body seemed to pulse. With fire, her energy wild and angry. She had always been power, fury, survival, and yet, in that moment, both were still. Silent. The Ark accepted all 3 of them. And that was something even the galaxy's creators had never predicted. Jace looked from Arila to Vexa. Is this going to work? Arila opened her eyes. It already is. The Ark, it feels us. It's listening. Vexa growled softly. It's not just listening, it's learning, changing. Suddenly, a voice filled the chamber. Not a human voice, not alien either, it was everything. It came from the walls, from the light, from the air. 3 hearts, 1 path, fire, ice, flesh, fusion complete. Preparing defense protocol, unity mode. The entire ship began to shift. Jace stumbled as the floor moved under him. Panels slid open. The walls expanded. Seats rearranged. It was as if the ship itself was being reborn around them. The Ark had never been meant for 3, but it was making space. Meanwhile, high above the wastes, the Baron's forces arrived. Dozens of warships, hundreds of speeders, thousands of foot soldiers. The army stretched across the glass sands, a black tide rolling forward. From his command, Ship Baron Threlk stared down at the Ark with wide eyes. The serpent-shaped vessel floated like a god waiting for judgment. He turned to his war general. They activated it. The Ark. The general looked worried. Do we attack? The Baron hissed. They don't know how to use it. Fire everything. We take it now before it wakes fully. And so the attack began. Inside the Ark, a loud alarm rang out. Incoming fire detected, activating external shields. Outside missiles struck the Ark, but they vanished in the air like drops of water on fire. The energy field around the ship turned golden, pulsing with light. Arila gasped. It's drawing from our energy. Vexa placed her hand on the panel. Then give it more. Jace stepped forward. If we do this, we do it together. Both girls looked at him. Jace held out one hand to Arila. She took it, her fingers cold but steady. He held out the other to Vexa. She paused, her eyes uncertain, but then slowly she placed her hand in his. A soft glow spread across their skin. Blue from Arila, red from Vexa, and gold from Jace. The Ark pulsed again. Core synchronization complete. Welcome, bonded Trinity. Battle mode online. The ship rose higher. From its sides, panels opened and revealed ancient weapons, huge, silent beams waiting for a command. Jace stared at the view in front of them. Thousands of enemy, ships closing in. He felt fear, but also something new. Power, confidence, connection. Are you two ready? He asked. Vexa grinned. I was born for this. Irila nodded. We are stronger when we stand together. Jace whispered. Then let's show the galaxy what that means. Outside, the Baron's ships opened fire again, but the Ark responded. This time, blades of energy slashed across the sky. Sonic waves shattered war cruisers. The ground split open and swallowed tanks whole. Inside the Ark, the three felt each strike like a heartbeat. The ship wasn't just fighting for them, it was fighting as them. But then something strange happened. The Ark stopped firing. It spoke again. Too much pain in Pilot 3. Stabilize emotions or shutdown will begin. Jace blinked. What does that mean? Irila touched his arm. It's reading your heart, Jace. You're angry, hurt, confused. Vexa stepped close. The Ark can't run on fear. It runs on unity, on trust. Jace closed his eyes. His past flashed through his mind. Wars he fought, people he lost, moments when no one stood beside him. Then, he felt the two women holding his hands. Not slaves, not weapons, just people. Like him. He breathed deep. I trust you both. Let's end this. Together. The light returned. Stronger, brighter. The Ark fired one final beam, straight into the Baron's flagship. Baron Threlk had only a moment to scream before his ship vanished in golden light. The army broke apart. Soldiers fled. The sky went quiet. Inside, the Ark. Silence returned. Jace looked at Irila and Vexa. You saved me, he said. No, Irila whispered. We saved each other. Vexa smirked. And we're not done yet. They thought it was over. Smoke drifted in the skies above. Zone X9. The enemy army had scattered. The Baron's flagship was gone. The Ark floated silently in the air, humming with soft golden light. Inside the control chamber, Jace, Irila, and Vexa stood together. Hands still glowing, breath still heavy. We did it, Jace whispered. Irila closed her eyes. The battle is done. Vexa crossed her arms. Then why do I still feel danger? The ship was calm. Too calm. Suddenly, the Ark spoke. New signal detected. Unknown energy spike. Warning. This presence matches no known life form. A cold silence filled the room. What does that mean? Jace asked, but Irila's face had already turned pale. It means the Baron planned for this. Far below, in a hidden chamber deep beneath the ruins of the old machine city, something stirred. Black wires slithered across the ground. Metal arms unfolded from a cocoon. A glass tank filled with green light cracked open, and Baron Threlk stepped out, changed. No longer fully alien. No longer fully alive. Half his body was metal now. His eyes burned red. His spine glowed with cables. Fools, he said in a voice that echoed like a machine. You unlocked the Ark. And now I will. Take it from you. He raised one arm. The ruins shook. From the ground, ancient war machines began to rise. Tall metal creatures with blades for arms and red sensors for eyes. These were not from his army. They were from before. Before history. Back inside the Ark, screens lit up in warning. Multiple, power signatures rising, hostile forces, origin, ancient core. Vexa snarled. He found the war vault, the place even the Ark sealed away. Jace clenched his fists. But how? We destroyed his army. Irila whispered. He never needed his army. He needed us to unlock the system. Now he's connected himself to The oldest tech on the planet. The screen blinked again. One intruder approaching at high speed. Identity, Baron Threlk. Status, mutated. Status, dangerous. Then the ship rocked. Hard. The sky cracked open as a giant spike of black metal crashed into the side of the Ark. The lights flickered. Sparks flew. He's attacking us directly, Jace said, grabbing onto the console. Irila cried out, falling to her knees. He's draining the Ark's energy through our bond. Vexa moved fast. She caught Irila and pulled her up. We have to cut him off, the Ark replied. Link compromised. External override in progress. Final defense locked. Only one. Command can reset the system. Heartlink. Jace blinked. What's Heartlink? The answer came from deep within the ship, through memory, not words. 3 minds, 3 hearts. One purpose. They had to fully merge. Body and thought. Not just connect. Trust completely. Open their pain, their hopes, their fears, or lose everything. Outside, Baron Threlk rose into the air, his body now part of the great machine. He awakened. He stood on a platform of flying metal, dozens of ancient drones circling him. He raised a single finger, and beams of red fire slammed into the Ark. Inside, everything shook. Vexa shouted, "We can't hold him back. The ship is dying." Irila grabbed Jace's hand, her eyes full of fear. Then we do what the Ark asked. We heartlink. Jace hesitated. What if it changes us? What if we don't come back the same? Vexa stepped forward. Better changed than dead. They joined hands. The Ark responded. Everything went white. Jace felt fire and ice crashing into him. Memories that weren't his. Visions of Arila's childhood in a palace of crystal. Vexa's pain raised in a lab where no one ever spoke her name. The fear, the loneliness, the strength. Then his own past came to the surface. His mother's voice, his first battle, the moment he lost his home, all of it, connected. And then he felt something new. Peace, unity, purpose. The light returned. Their bodies floated in the air, no longer just human or alien or machine. They were one. The Ark pulsed with golden power. The override ended. Baron Threlk saw the glow rising again from the ship. "No," he snarled. "That power is mine." He sent his machines forward, but they shattered mid-air. The Ark fired a pulse, not a weapon but a wave of light and sound. Every machine in the wasteland froze, then fell. Even Threlk's own body began to break apart. His metal limbs twisted, his cables snapped. "No!" With a final scream, he vanished into light. The Ark floated gently now. Calm again. Inside, Jace, Irila, and Vexa returned to the ground, changed forever. They looked at each other. Irila smiled. "You did it." Jace shook his head. "We did," Vexa smirked. "Took you long enough to catch up, human." The Ark drifted above the shattered battlefield. Below, the desert was silent. The storm had passed. The machines were gone. The Baron was no more. The sky, once filled with red clouds and fire, was now clearing for the first time in centuries. Pale light from a twin sun shined down on the glassy surface of Zone X9. Inside the Ark's heart chamber, Jace, Irila, and Vexa stood together. Not as a soldier and 2 slaves, not even as pilots of a forgotten ship, but as something new. Something the galaxy had never seen before. "I feel different," Irila whispered, touching her chest. The room pulsed softly with golden light. Jace nodded. "Me too. Like everything in me has been reshaped." Vexa's red eyes glowed softly. "That's because it has. The Ark didn't just join our minds, it rebuilt our bond. It made us one." Jace looked between them. "So what happens now?" Irila turned to the main control panel. The screen showed a full scan of the planet below, hidden bunkers, broken cities, ruined temples, and beneath it all, a buried network of life support systems. A world long dead, still breathing. She touched the screen. The Ark spoke. "Commanders united, awaiting final order. Select function, rebirth or destruction." Jace frowned. What does that mean? Vexa stepped forward. The Ark was built to end the war between machines and organics. It can destroy what's left, or restart the cycle. A fresh beginning. Arila looked out the window. We have to choose. The screen showed visions of the galaxy, planets, where machines ruled over people, worlds where people had turned against each other, places filled with silence, death, or worse, chains. Then it showed people like them, outcasts, lost souls, survivors. People still searching for hope. Arila turned to Jace. You freed me when I was nothing, just a thing in chains. You didn't know who I was, but you still chose me. Vexa added, you chose both of us, even when you didn't have to. That's why the Ark listened. Jace shook his head. I didn't free you, you freed yourselves, I just gave you a chance. He looked at the screen. I say we give the galaxy the same chance. The Ark glowed brighter. Final command, accepted, preparing rebirth. Outside, the ship rose higher into the sky, its hull changing shape, unfolding like a flower. Huge, crystal panels extended outward, catching the sunlight. From the ship's core, a beam of golden energy shot into the planet's crust. It didn't burn. It healed. The glassed desert began to shift. Cracks opened. Water flowed from underground. Seeds buried for centuries began to awaken. Green spread across the land like a wave. Dead machines melted into soil. The ruined war zones softened into valleys. The Ark was remaking the world, not as a weapon of war, but as a tool for life. Hours passed. The sky turned blue for the first time in ages. Jace, Arila, and Vexa stood on a hill, watching the change. Below, small alien animals returned. The wind carried the scent of fresh grass. A lake shimmered in the distance. I never thought I'd see something like this, Arila said quietly. A place without fear. Vexa sat beside her, her sharp features calm. I never thought I'd stop fighting, but now I want to learn how to live. Jace chuckled. Well, I was planning to find a quiet planet and retire after all this. Maybe this one will do. Arila turned to him. Do you really think the galaxy will let this place stay peaceful? Jace nodded. No, but we'll protect it. Vexa grinned. Together. They returned to the Ark one last time. The ship had changed again, its controls now calm, its voice gentle. Mission complete. Unity achieved. Awaiting next chapter. The trio stood in silence. Arila touched Jace's hand. You gave me my name back. You reminded me I'm more than my blood. Vexa took his other hand. You saw worth in someone raised to destroy. You made me feel human. Jace smiled at both of them. And you two gave me something I never thought I'd have again, a reason to believe. The Ark's door opened. It was time to step into the world they had saved. As they walked out together, the ship spoke one final time. Unity is not the end. It is the beginning. Epilogue. Months later, word spread through the outer systems. Whispers of a restored planet. A place where machines no longer ruled, where outcasts were welcomed, where the soil healed and peace grew. Some came looking for power. They found a golden ship in the sky, and 3 figures standing guard. Others came seeking safety. They were welcomed with food, water, and stories. The galaxy remembered the Ark, but more importantly, it remembered what Jace, Arila, and Vexa built together, not a weapon, not a kingdom, a future.